The current scientific consensus is that our first Homo sapien ancestors evolved in Africa more than 1,500 centuries ago. During the 1950s, Elizabeth Marshall Thomas and her family were the first outsiders to live among the Bushmen of the Kalahari Desert. Now gone, the culture of the Bushmen is the closest we can come to understanding how our ancient ancestors actually lived. Ms. Thomas has documented that culture in The Old Way.
Everything in the natural world lives by what I would call the old way, and indeed it is the old way. It's as old as life on Earth, and with various changes. And people alone and domestic animals today live not in the old way, but we see ourselves as in our civilization or whatever as the natural thing, and everything else is dispensable, which of course anybody listening to this program probably realizes is far from true. But when it was helpful to me to see people living with what I also call the old rules, which is that what is determining what you do, it's weather, it's rainfall, wildfires, that kind of thing, and sort of natural events. And you must adjust to this. You don't have control over it. You don't think of controlling it. The people did not think of controlling the weather or anything like that. It was interesting because they're far from it. I mean, we assume that the rain dance means to bring rain. No, the rain dance that people did was to use the power of the rain for their own benefit and to partake of the power of the natural world, which I think is a very different way of looking at things than how we look at things.
Well, you use the word control, the illusion that we have that somehow we are in control. Maybe the silliest thing we ever invented. Is that a tool?
Well, it may be. I think it started with agriculture. I mean, we did gain some. Well, when you want to have agriculture, you must then exert some control, or as much as you can, over what is going on in your world of planting, world of animals. You can't let predators take your livestock. You have to water your plants presumably, or at least you have to cultivate them, and then I think that gave us an illusion of being in control, and also the high desirability of being able to control the natural world. And I think but the Bushmen didn't have that at all. That just wasn't part of their picture, and theirs was in reality a much more appropriate way to look at the world than we look at it. But we're kind of out of luck because it's so ingrained in our culture. There is no way that our culture is ever going to move away from what we've got. I don't see from what we've got, and I do think that we're going to have to we're going to have to use control in order not to keep on putting up greenhouse gases. We're going to have to try to control. So the control is built in there, but it was interesting that to live at a time when it wasn't, or to live in a situation when it wasn't, with people for whom it wasn't.
I was particularly interested that for all that we say there was not a sense of control, it was the arrogant sense of control that was missing. It wasn't that there were no controls. Any natural system has all kinds of controls. The weather itself is a control. And it's not as if these people were anarchists. These people had very clear social boundaries.
Yes, what I meant was that they did not try to control the environment as one does when one is an agriculturist. They controlled themselves.
What a concept!
Very clearly, and they did not consider controlling anything else. The only way you can do it is without heavy machinery, is with magic, and they simply didn't bother. I mean, they didn't have magic to do this and magic to do that. They had a little, but no, I mean, the deer don't have magic to make things happen. The lions don't have magic to make things happen. Why would we? We didn't. People assume that because they are they were hunter-gatherers, that they had lots of superstitions and lots of magic beliefs to explain things. They didn't. None at all.